And welcome to our Battlin Bear Coaches Show here, our second show of the year, and got head coach Danny Neville with us this morning. Coach Keller will join us. I guess he thinks he has to practice this morning, so he couldn't be here this morning, but we'll catch up with him later. Coach, a little bit of winter in Montana.
Yeah, it reminds me of the North Dakota days. Sorry for bringing that over here.
Coach, you had a nice break. Got away from the kids, or kids got away from you, as you said last week, but kind of talked about what it's like and good parts and bad parts about having a break.
Yeah, I mean, I think after the Billings games, MSU Billings game, there was, some stuff that was obvious that we needed to work on and get better at. But obviously with the huge break in between, that game and then obviously the games we have this weekend, we gave them a couple days off. So it was good to get away, because a lot of times you self-reflect on, what happened so far in the preseason, and obviously 7 games in. So, we came back, we practiced the last couple of days, and, I feel like guys are refreshed and just ready to go.
Well, I was kind of looking over the schedule this morning, and it's about your last break you're going to have all year.
Yeah. I mean, we got crazy amount of games. We go to Arizona, play MSU Billings too right before, and then we fly out the next day to go to Arizona. So, again, we're focused on the present moment, but, you got a lot of those games in a row. But at the end of the year, I mean, if you make the national tournament, you're playing in games back to back to back too. So,
yeah, it kind of gets you broke in for that. You got a couple big games coming up this weekend. I did watch most of the Western Tech game the other night on the video, and played a ball game. Coach, talk a little bit about these two teams. Let's start with Tech. You got them on Friday night.
Yeah, obviously 2 really good teams. Anybody that watched it, I mean, is going to watch and say, hey, those are 2 top 25 level teams. Obviously Tech, they've been really successful in the league and, successful in the national stage. So we have a lot of respect for those guys and Coach Hyatt. And, they're big, physical. They post a lot. They do a good job rebounding. They got guys that are really confident. Obviously, Deacons is a really, really good player. So, when they're well coached, they got a big, rich history and tradition, and they have good players. It's going to be a tough matchup for us. But our guys are excited. I mean, it's a good rivalry game, and we're gonna go compete. Yeah, just Western too. I mean, they got some big firepower on the offensive end, and again, same thing. They're experienced. They're well coached. So it's gonna be a tough weekend for us, but we're prepping for it this week, and hopefully our guys will be ready to compete and really challenge those 2 teams this weekend.
Yeah, I kind of got looking at the scoring in the conference this morning. Brewer and Stewart, 2 guys from Western, number 2 and number 3 in the conference in scoring, and then you got Deacons out of Tech. He is number 9 in scoring. Then you have Omar at number 11 in scoring on the season. So you got to kind of go up against a couple of the big hitters this weekend. It looks to me like.
Yeah, and the Western guys are really good players. They just really, really can shoot it. Both of those guys. So it presents a lot of problems, and when they're both on, it's usually not good for the other team. And then obviously Tech with Deacons, or however you say his name, he is really good at getting to the rim. You can tell he's a really experienced player, really long. And again, we just got to do a good job on the defensive end and, key in on those good players. And then obviously the other part of it's got to rebound. They're big. They're both big and physical.
Yeah, that's kind of the Frontier Conference. I'm not too sure. You haven't seen other schools, the new teams coming in, but Frontier Conference was always it's a physical battle underneath the basket. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be, I mean, there's going to be good teams in Arizona as well. Obviously MSU Billings is really good. And, the two other teams too, like you look at Dickinson, we barely beat them at their place, and, they're really well coached. They have good program as well. And so it's just going to be a tough road for us. So we just got to key in on, every day, just getting better. Not worrying about the future, not worrying about Friday yet, not worrying about this weekend, just worried about getting better today.
So looking at the standings, you got Bellevue, Western, and Carroll all sitting on top at 3-0, and then you got Tech, Dakota State, and you guys at 2-1, and then 1 and 2s and O's and 3s. But just the next 2 weeks going to be huge in conference play, playing some conference action.
Yeah, I mean, every game's important in conference, but obviously it's early. But again, the more you play, the more that you're facing teams once, and then you got to face those teams again. So, and a lot of times, like, you could start out 3-0, but have 3 home games. So, and, not be successful on the road. So I think it's, especially in this league with all the travel, I think it's important to play well on the road. Obviously at home, you're never going to, it's not a, 100% thing that you're going to play great, but just being at home matters. So you got to have those experienced, tough teams that can win on the road, especially tough games.
So I was kind of looking at the schedule, Coach, and, you guys play Bismarck and Dickinson on the road, and then you turn around and play them pretty quick afterwards. Is that kind of way the schedule's going to go throughout the year? Or is that
I think that's just, yeah. So I don't know, but it's just it is different playing them right back to back. But, I was talking to Selvig. He gets a player back at second semester that I know. So I just told him, hey, we're lucky we didn't face you, man.
Yeah, I did think about that. Players coming in semester, so that will be an advantage or disadvantage for some coaches. So
Sure.
Some teams. So just give you a little bit of time here to kind of wrap it up and tell us about what your thoughts are on the Frontier Conference and your games coming up.
Yeah, I mean, obviously conference I know super well, so really respect a lot of the teams, a lot of the coaches in the league. And just for us, obviously new coach, new program, new culture, just trying to get all these guys all on the same page. And I think once we get them all on the same page, I think we'll take a big step, big leap in this year. But got to be patient. I'm not the most patient guy in the world, but just trying to be realistic with our development and how how we're doing things. And I'm putting just a lot of pressure on these guys to just compete and play together. I'm not the biggest guy on mistakes or any of the non-controllable stuff I'm not big on, but the stuff that we can control on, we can really compete. I think one thing we talked about last time we talked as well is like, you could prep for Montana Tech and put everything into it. And, who knows what comes out of that game, but then you got to turn around and play Montana Western at Montana Western. And so we have to get these guys to a certain level where we can pour everything into Friday, but we can also pour everything into Saturday as well. So once we can get to that, I mean, I think we have a really good chance to do some good things.
Coach, are you guys going up Thursday to Butte?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what. Yeah. You talk about your patience. I don't know very many coaches that have a lot of patience. Maybe there's a few. I know that was kind of my middle name was Patience, with my first name was No. So yeah, welcome to the Battlin Bears basketball coaches show here. Got head coach Wes Keller, the women's team. Coach, glad to have you on today.
Yeah, thanks, Bob. I'm glad we're doing this again. I think it's a great thing for both our men's and women's programs, and just appreciate you doing this.
Coach, you went to Carroll last week and played in a tournament up there. Split. Talk a little bit about those two games.
Yeah, our first Friday, we took on Oregon Tech, and they're a top 25 program, been traditionally a top 25 program, and I was really proud of our effort against them. I thought they were very physical, and I thought we matched their physicality, if you will, and I thought we were pretty good on the offensive end, being efficient, and then defensively, they have a couple really nice players, and I thought we did a nice job holding them down. I can't remember what the final score was, but they got 56 or 7 points, and that's where we need to be holding our opponents in the 50s. I'd sleep a lot better if we did that. So,
yeah, the final was 74-53 on that one. So,
yeah, and then we turn around and LC State, another traditional powerhouse in the NAI women's basketball, and that was the first time that we'd seen any zone this year. So, excuse me, I thought we moved the ball well and got some good looks, and just didn't finish them for whatever reason. I thought both games were physical, and we're still, times have changed a little bit. It's Friday, Saturday. We're still searching, trying to figure out our rotations, if we will. Who's the other kid or two that will step up and we can throw them out there. So, still trying to search, that the schedule, I'll take the blame for the schedule. Just, couldn't get many non-conference games early and jump right into conference. So we got 3 conference games left in Arizona in December, and our December schedule is definitely heavy with games.
Yeah, I was talking to the coach Neville about that as well. You guys really, I don't know how many games it is you have in the next 10 days, but it's a couple handfuls, I think.
Yeah, I think we got these 2 this weekend, then we come back and take on Bismarck State and Dickinson State, I believe. Is that correct? And then
you go to Arizona.
Yeah, play MSUB on a Monday or Tuesday, and then we go play 3 in Arizona. So we're going to be busy.
Well, you got a couple good ones this week. You go to Tech on Friday, and then Western. What's your thoughts on those 2 teams?
No, Coach Graham's doing a great job down there at Montana Tech, and Coach Sullivan at Western. He's they're winning games and playing hard and competing, and I've said it many, many times, you got to be ready and ready to compete and show up, because if you don't, you're going to get beat in this league. And Montana Tech, they're long and pretty athletic, and one of the big keys for that game is give them one shot, keep them off the boards. So we're going to have to really lock in on that end to limit their offensive rebounds. And Montana Western, they got a bunch of kids that can really shoot the 3 and stretch the floor and drive and kick. So we're definitely going to have our hands full, but we're also looking forward to it.
With Coach Sullivan down there, he's spent his past years at Sheridan High School. They were pretty successful down there in the high school program down in Wyoming. But what kind of what do you expect to play out of his teams?
Well, I think they're with what him getting the job when he did, and he brought in some nice pieces, and I just expect them to be play extremely hard and physical on the defensive end, and then they're doing some nice things, some dribble drive, kick, and they got some shooters. Both their 4s and 5s can both shoot 3s, and so that's they're doing a nice job of stretching the floor and creating some mismatch problems.
Coach, kind of going through the standings here. I'll see if I can pull them up here and get them up there for us. But we look at that Dakota State. I'm looking forward to that game. I think it's in January when they come play us here at home. But it's still kind of early. You got Dakota State at 3-0, and then you have Tech, Northern Valley City, Rocky, Carroll, all at 2-1. Well, I guess Tech is at 3-1. Excuse me. But everybody's still kind of tight at this point. When do you think we'll start to see some separation in the standings?
Well, I think you're going to start to see some separation after the first. It's a little bit different, but after the first round of playing everybody, I think this schedule is a little bit unique. As we're going to be taking on Bismarck State, Dickinson for the second time before we've played everybody once. So I think you'll start to see some separation early January, maybe to an extent, I believe.
So that's kind of like when our conference play used to start with.
Yeah, correct.
Right over.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder, is that playing Bismarck and Dickinson almost back to back here, is that something that we're going to deal with in the future, or do you think that's a one-time thing?
I don't know. I think they'll, it's kind of above my pay grade, if you will, but I think they'll look at it and I don't know. I can't recall if it was a 2-year schedule or 3, but I think they're going to really look hard and evaluate after this year to see which way we go moving forward.
At least you don't have to play each other 3 times.
Yeah, but sometimes, yeah. You're right.
No. You guys going down Thursday, going to Butte on Thursday?
Yeah, we'll head up there Thursday afternoon after practice and get a good meal and rest and get game plan. And then we'll Friday morning, we'll have a shoot around and go from there.
All right. Well, no, it's I told Coach Neville, I just bought a new 75-inch TV so I can see you guys play a little bit better now. And I could, so next week I'll probably critique you a little bit more than what we have in the past. Because
give me all the answers. I'll take them. I'm not above taking answers.
No, just kind of to finish up here, Coach. Just kind of talk a little bit about what you think of your team thus far and going into some more conference play.
Yeah, I like where we're at offensively as a whole. I think we can score in bunches and you look back at some of these games, we've been going on 8-0 runs or 10-2 runs. And, that offensively, I'd really like that. Defensively, still a work in progress. I'm still searching for who is that other person going to be that we can guard on the other team's best player night in and night out and come in and give us some solid minutes. And I think managing minutes, I have to get a little bit better at that and not try to play certain people too many minutes because at some point it affects them a little bit. And we just got to find ways to keep our kids fresh.
Yeah, and I think from what you say, you'll always listen, so I'm going to tell you what I think.
Absolutely.
And you can see that, and as well as anybody that when you have to put one of your best offensive players on the other team's best defensive players, it's gonna affect the offensive end for sure. So before we go, I want to congratulate Isabel Hagem on Defensive Player of the Week this week. How many blocks has she got now? 30, 40 or so? Or?
Oh, I don't know if it's that many. Not enough. I'd like her to have more. But no, she's doing a great job. And you know, you got to remember her and Paige, they're sophomores, you know, and we're playing some young kids, and you know, we're still learning, and that's the exciting thing about this team is I think there's a lot of improvement, especially on the defensive end by the time, you know, February gets here and in March. So just trying to plug away and continue to get a little bit better every day.